And that is NFL fights. I know we probably saw this weekend a few NFL guys going at it. Obviously, Mike Evans, and I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank.
Lattimore, I think.
Lattimore. Yeah, Mark Lattimore. I think Marsh. Lattimore, and this is like the third time now in like 3 years where Mike Evans just came from the top ropes and just slammed it on him. That's my quarterback. You don't talk some smack, and so it got the wheels turning a little bit. Chit chat a little bit about this, and the thought process is why are you not allowed to fight in the NFL like you are in hockey? Right? Why don't you encourage this? Because in hockey, it's incredible to watch, number one. Here's the pros to this. It's fun to watch for the fans. Everybody loves it. Okay? 2, it settles debates like men, and then you move on. It gets it done and over with. I promise you there'd be less flags because you just go, you duke it out. Maybe they sit out for 5 minutes or whatever you want to do, kind of like in hockey. And then it's fine. It's done and over with, right? That's number 2. Number 3, it's great for team morale. If you need a quick boost, right? Send in your ringer like they do in hockey to go lay some heads and get people fired up real quick. Get your team fired up. It's good for that. What's crazy is they got in a fight, got ejected from the game, and now they're suspended for a game. These guys spend 4 quarters trying to murder one another. For them not to expect this to happen, it's absurd. Like this is football. This is what we do, right? So I don't see why they don't. I don't get it. I don't appreciate the suspension. I think it's a little over the top. I mean, we're barely suspending guys for sexual harassment, yet they throw a small bow, and this is where we're at. Look, you can't say, well, they can't fight because then they're going to encourage fighting. Well, that's the whole game is encouraging just grown men to smack one another. What's your thoughts, Steve? Give me your take. I'm rambling.
Yeah, look, look, if they want to fight, they're going to do it anyway. Clearly, right? It doesn't change anything. There's no way to really penalize teams for fighting. So then, how do you curtail it? Right? There is no 5-minute, fighting penalty in the box. So it just seems like it would just be it would let the NFL turn into the WWE. I could almost immediately see Vince McMahon becoming the vice president of the NFL, maybe even the head of the NFLPA or something like that. Like it would just become the XFL, and I'd prefer to keep the NFL about football and less about whatever that was. I mean, look, I don't take away the fact that they've been going at each other. And look, that is a rivalry game. The Saints in Tampa Bay, I know it doesn't feel like there's a lot of traditional rivalries in the NFL, but that's one that those two teams just generally don't like each other.
So you don't like you don't like the idea of fighting?
I don't mind if they do it. Knock yourselves out.
You don't like
a mask on. What's the point?
You don't like my proposal. No, you come out, you take your helmets off, just like in hockey, and you're in agreement. Like, I'm not saying like it's a brawl. It's like, hey, I come out, I'm taking my helmet off, you and me. Do you want this or no? Right? And you go, yeah. All right, let's rock and roll, and then you let them duke it out.
I maybe. Here's what we'll do.
You know why I'm not surprised? You know why I'm not surprised?
Tell me.
You cheer for an all-girl school. So I get it. You're a little softer than most. Yeah. I totally get that. How could you not want that?
It would bore me. I want to watch two teams play really good football.
Steve, you don't come over to a house and watch UCF fights?
Yeah, but I come over there to watch that specifically. I'm expecting that. I want that because they're trained at that.
You don't enjoy a big hit, like a big slam.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. But I'm there to watch a fight. I'm not there to watch another sporting event that's mixed in with fighting. I don't mind when the NHL does.
Oh, so you like hockey? Why? Well, so what's the difference?
Because that seems to be just more of a natural part of the game, and it doesn't seem like that in the NFL. Like
because it hasn't been allowed
in the NFL. Yeah, but I don't want it allowed. It would annoy me because I think it would be too prevalent. It would be too much all the time. The value of it, the entertainment value of it, just would do nothing for me.
So you think the fights would happen too much?
Yeah, there'd be too many of them. It'd be offensive line. I mean, look, the reason why it's so newsworthy when it happens right now is because it never really happens. They're two teams that are trying to kill each other.
I disagree. I disagree with it happening all the time. I don't think guys hate each other as much as those two hate each other. One, I don't think D-line kind of get into it as much. It's it's not the chirping isn't there. The guys are gassed to say anything. It's going to be more on the outsides where they're chipping and checking one another. The guys that don't get the wide receivers and DBs really don't get to hit anybody, right? Those are the ones that don't get to exert their frustrations. The O linemen are they're constantly just pounding one another. Like I'm exhausted. But
how many times do you think a defensive lineman would take a cheap shot on a quarterback that wouldn't result in a fight? It would happen every time.
No.
It
so
already
look,
kind of turns into
so
that.
Would be
it turns
so.
into a scrum
So
for sure.
no. So here's the comparison. That would be like a cheap shot happening on a goalie. The goalie doesn't do the fighting. Somebody would come out and do the fighting for them. You would have a guy, right? Like, hey, I'm calling you out, right? So you would have a big guy come out and say, hey, like we're gonna settle this. You don't. The quarterback's never gonna fight. You're never going to see a quarterback fight with another quarterback. That's never going to happen. It's just like in hockey. You don't have your stars fight because now they're going to be out. Maybe it's out for a quarter, right? Like you kind of make the penalty where like I don't want to do this, but I have to set the tone here. So you make it to where it's not going to be over the top. But look, they're grown men. Let them duke it out.
Okay, so then look at the way that the NCAA handles targeting penalties, where if you get a targeting penalty and it's the first quarter, you're out for the rest of the game. Would you do something like that?
No. Because
if you get a targeting penalty in the second half, then you're out for the first half of the next.
No. So targeting is different because you're hitting a defensive receiver. This is an agreement amongst two dudes to go at it. You don't get the same level of penalty for that. No,
there has to be a penalty.
I said maybe you sit out for like a drive or something. Like I agree. I don't know what the penalty is. That's not my job.